Hey, what's going on, everyone? Sorry I look like this. I just woke up. I'm not taking comments at this time. Before the podcast starts, so you know, this is the last day of the Heat Death sale. Every order in the US gets free shipping today. So if you want to add something to your order and not pay shipping, or if you haven't gotten anything yet, make sure to go to heatdeath.co. Check out the sale. Everything gets free shipping until midnight tonight. And then we go into production. So go check it out. It supports us so much. It'll make me not gross in the morning anymore if you get something from Heat Death, I think. So you guys know too, this was my first like multi-person podcast that I had filmed. I used my webcam on my self shot and it does not look great. But the most important thing is that Susie looks really good. There's some audio issues, some caption issues, but I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Heatdeath.co. See you later. What's going on, everyone? This is a podcast, so
I'm in the big chair.
I was gonna like immediately start editing that, and I came off way too strong. This is Susie.
Hi.
She is. Who are you?
I am. Hold on.
The best.
I have identifiers. I'm an artist. I'm a mom of 2 dogs and 1 bird. I am a revolutionary, literally. I'm Cuban.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know,
I am
Susie's my fiance.
I'm an orange juice lover.
She's an orange juice lover, and she's my fiance.
Yeah. And I have hair now.
Yes, you do. That's a big thing that
Yeah.
we're going to talk about.
True.
This is the second episode in just like a little podcast series that I've been playing around with. It's fun to like document life this way a little bit. Like
Sure.
I use my videos a lot of the time to like remember what was going on in our lives.
Only by how he looks, though, because they have no context to anything happening in life. So he'll be like, "Hey, that's when I had that weird cowlick," and I'm like,
for me, it's like, oh man, I used to be fat. Like,
well, he has been losing weight. He's on a big weight loss grind, which is really insulting for me personally.
She's going through something. So for people that are like, I get so many comments that are like, why does he say we all the time? And who is Susie? And why is she a part of anything?
I'm a revolutionary.
Yeah.
I'm an orange juice lover. I'm a mom of 2.
We have had a year.
I'm an artist.
A hard year.
I don't even want to talk about it. Well, fuck that year. I don't know 2023. And you know what? I also don't know 2024 either, because 2024 is coming out swinging.
Really bad. We've had a lot of stuff happen. So you guys know, there's probably everyone that does know, Susie got breast cancer at the end of May last year. Mm-hmm. Diagnosed June 1st. But
not before they sent me a letter 2 weeks earlier being like, congratulations, you have no sign of breast cancer. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, no, wait.
You do.
Wait a minute, wait. So sorry.
You have it bad.
I framed that letter on my fridge.
It's on the fridge right now. The letter that says, congratulations, Susanna, you are cancer-free.
You have never, well, it's not cancer-free because they were like, you have no signs of any cancer. And I was like, sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. No,
that's not the case.
Narrator voice. She did have cancer.
That was not the case.
This set off the longest year of my life.
It's not even a full year yet.
Not even. It feels like 10.
Yeah. The journey started in June, and we are not.
Is it really? It's really only been 8 months.
It's only been 8 months. Yeah.
It feels like, it legitimately feels like at minimum being realistic, like 2 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It feels so anyway, let's just kind of give an overview, because we've kind of, the only people that really know I feel like the full timeline of
It's anybody who follows me on my story. If you follow me on my story, you have a pretty good idea.
Yeah. If you follow, Susie doesn't really make any kind of content except for unhinged Instagram stories.
No, they're so good, and I'm so proud of
Her
them.
Instagram is Susie Sucks. So you should go follow it.
You should go follow it specifically because you simply don't want to miss out on my Instagram stories. My Instagram stories are the bread and butter of any content I could possibly make.
So a lot of people probably don't know, though, like the full scope of everything that we did.
Yeah. Well, we got diagnosed June, and which meant that I immediately had to start looking for surgeons because basically my only real options were to get a double mastectomy because I was literally freshly 29, which meant that my cancer probably had started growing around as early as 26 to 27. And they were like, girl, if you got cancer that young, it's coming back. Cut your titties off. And I was like, so true, bestie. So then I had to...
So we went on a quest to cut her titties off.
Yeah, so we went on a quest to go find the perfect surgeon to hack my tits off. And we tried Indiana, which is where we live right now. And when I tell you the state of plastic surgeons here...
The other things about Indiana are great. The plastic surgeons are not.
Don't come here for a boob job.
No.
Don't.
We had this man.
Don't come here for a boob job.
Because you're obviously destroyed because you just found out you had cancer.
Yeah, and
And they're rushing you.
They are rushing me.
Because it was urgent.
Yeah, they were like, you need to have these gone within 2 months. Like you need to have like everything figured out, like for everything buttoned up perfectly within 2 months, because any longer than that, you risk it spreading. And I was like, sick. Because I literally, like, I know that it's all like, oh yeah, just schedule a surgery. No, like people are booked, like surgeons are booked.
Plus,
and like insurance has to do like an entire like thing for you. Like they have to like, I don't even remember what it's called. But they basically have to like go through your entire medical history and do like an entire huge claim form to even like
begin the process,
to even approve a surgery this big and this costly. And they're like, yeah, you have to have everything done within 2 months. So I'm like fighting with like financial departments, like trying to
make the best decision too, because they don't tell you, like you have to, they're not going to be like, well, this is what the best option is. Like you have to shop your doctors.
Yeah, they're not allowed to. And like, imagine shopping doctors. Like, you know how hard it is to get in contact with a fucking surgeon?
And you have cancer.
And you have cancer. And I'm tired. Like, no, it was like I was on the phone constantly with like 1,000 hospitals being like, what is your price for like bed stay? What is your price for this? How much is insurance covered? How much is this? How much is that? It was bananas. It was crazy. And they basically wanted me to button that up within 2 months. And that was insane. Thankfully, like obviously you try closest to home. So we obviously went through Indiana doctors first. But when I walked into a plastic surgeon's office, and for one thing, the nurses, bizarrely so,
we still think about
like
this.
They literally, their first response was, oh, you poor, very clearly young woman facing this. Let me, treat you with like comfort and care, tell you like where to wait. And like, here's the office and like, stay in this room. Doctor will be right with you. No, they didn't just pick me up out of the reception and were like, let me walk you to your room. Okay, doctor will be in 5 minutes. Bye. No, they literally looked at me and Brady, said, oh my God, you guys look like siblings. And then we're like, well, we're getting married. So that's not it. And then she didn't drop it. She literally took us by the arm and held us hostage and walked us to multiple rooms where multiple nurses were waiting.
Look at these cousin fuckers.
And they literally were like, don't they look like siblings? And everyone's like, and they're like, they're getting married. I'm like, you're not giving context. We're not siblings getting married. Like,
yeah, and like we were like, at one point I was like, I need to go to the bath.
I need to leave. Yeah, no, and that was just the receptionist and the nurses. Then we walk in and we meet with this plastic surgeon who straight up shows me. He
was nice.
He was
a
nice
guy.
He was a nice guy. And that is all I will say.
That doesn't do anything for your medical pedigree.
He was a nice man.
He was very polite.
he was a nice man.
He pulled up this slideshow that literally looked like how someone would sell you a timeshare.
Yeah.
But it was like your new fake boobs and like
when I tell
slipping
you,
with the PowerPoint button.
And he saved it for last. Like he went through all of the medical kind of like, general know-hows, saved it for last. And then he's like, I'm going to show you some, like a bit of my work. He's like, this is my best work I've ever done. I had people come in and crowd around this poor woman, I'm assuming, and just clap at her tits. And I'm like,
you mutilated her.
And dog, one was pointing south and the other was pointing north. It was like a scene in Deliverance.
And
okay.
He was like, and so imagine, like, he was like stoked.
Yeah, he was stoked.
He was like, this is the grand finale, slam that button. And like, we just saw two fucking uneven rocks, like literally Mr. Garrison from that South Park episode.
Like very much Mr. Garrison from that South Park episode. And he was like, this is my best work. And I, at that point, could hold back nothing. And I was like, really? And he took that as like, yeah, really?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I did this. And I was like, we need to leave.
Yeah.
We need to wrap this
and
up.
And he was like,
we need to go.
I'm so stoked on this.
We need to go.
And Susie immediately at that time, like we probably could have sat and, had the like comforting doctor chat with him. But Susie goes, that's a lot to think about. I need to go.
I need to leave.
And we immediately came home and she started researching other plastic
we immediately
surgeons.
came home and I started sobbing.
That too.
Because that was a traumatic experience.
I don't even think about that anymore.
But I researched, I went on Reddit. And honestly, if you have cancer, go on Reddit.
Because they all have cancer anyway.
I mean, yeah. So go on Reddit. Like, they're not going to...
It is cancer.
You're not going to be too surprised by what you find on there. And no one's going to be very surprising in their stories. Anyways, go on Reddit. And I went on Reddit and I literally was like, I know you bitches know something that I fucking don't. Like, tell me who you go to. Tell me you're this. I'm 29. I don't care if it sounds... Because that's another thing that people don't really, like, prepare you for mentally when you are a young cancer patient. Everybody, like, does, like, cancer through the eyes of, like, old age. And, like, with the whole mindset of... You shouldn't really care about how you look because you're old and ugly anyways. But like, so people get kind of like, they get kind of like quiet and awkward about me expressing that I want to look good. I will not take a shoddy job. I will not support a shot because I'm 29 years old.
And a lot of their
and
people
they didn't know
are
what
like,
to do with that.
Yeah, because a lot of the times, especially I think in Indiana, when we were talking to doctors, like they are dealing with people that are like obviously a lot older. Like there's not a lot
who've had children. Yeah. They've lived their lives.
They're like, don't you just want to get this done so you don't die? And we're like, yeah, that is a goal. But I also like am 29.
I'm also 29 and don't want to like hate myself forever.
Any more than I already do.
Like, because that's the thing too. Like it's a lot. It's a lot to wrestle as a woman. It's a lot to wrestle as a woman. It's also a lot to wrestle as a woman who has not yet had children and would like to have children someday, because like breastfeeding, that's done. That's over. You don't have tits anymore. Like it's gone. You cannot.
Yeah.
You cannot create.
Not an option.
So,
anymore.
You're wrestling not only with a strange thing in your body that's dangerous and is killing you. You're wrestling with the aesthetic of, will I like what I look like? How will my scars look? Will I look scarred? Will I look like when I undress and I'm in like a sexual situation, people will stop and look at me because I look like something is wrong, or like disfigure, the insecurity of that, the insecurity of scars, the insecurity of misplacement, the insecurity of like how they look, how they feel, and how people receive them at that point, because like, that's obviously a very intimate part of your body. And when you get intimate with someone, you don't want them to be like,
oh, fuck.
Ah, fuck. Yeah, exactly. Jump, fucking scare. So you're dealing with that, and you're hoping that all of that turns out well. But then you're also dealing with like the fact that if you wanted to be a mother, you can't do a core thing that comes with motherhood. Like, you will never know what it's like to breastfeed your children. You will never know what it's like to pump for your children. You will never know. And I understand that everybody says that sucks. I understand that everybody says that that's not like a fun part of motherhood.
You're not missing out on
but
anything,
it's still something that people want to know. Like,
yeah.
I still want to feel like when I'm a mother, I still want to feel like I know every aspect of motherhood because I got to experience. So it is kind of like loss on loss on loss on loss in ways that you don't even realize when they first tell you, oh, you have breast cancer and you need to like chop your tits off. Like that's not traumatic in and of itself.
It's wild. And that's just one of like the millions of crushing things.
Oh, so many. I feel like I could just.
It's this entire, and sorry if this is like a little unstructured, because we wanted to do a podcast episode where we actually like talked about what we have gone through in some kind of like on the record way that's not like, you know,
my loose
your
Instagram
stories or me like talking for a second at the end of a video. So sorry if it's a little unstructured, but we still are like in the middle of processing while new things continue to happen.
Oh my God, we haven't even gotten to the
We haven't even gotten anywhere.
No, yeah.
We haven't gotten anywhere.
So just a quick, what ended up happening was obviously that guy was a bust. I go on Reddit and I'm like, listen, I know you bitches know something I don't. And I'm sick of being treated by like the medical world here. Like I'm not allowed to ask for perfect tits. Like everybody's looking at me being like, really? Your priority isn't being alive? It's like, yeah, but I also don't want to kill myself right after.
But you also were in a special situation because you had a type of cancer that was contained in the mammary glands, the milk ducts.
Yeah, the milk ducts. Yeah,
I love that word.
It was, well, they're gone, so we don't have them anymore. Rip. But so in my head, I was like, yeah, like mine isn't spreading like crazy. They can save whatever. The point of the matter is that I went on Reddit and I was like, tell me who's going to make my tits look nice and also save my life. And I got an entire list of people. I messaged the first person off that list and I messaged him on his website, like, you know, the whole contact form. Didn't expect him to get back to me even that day. He is a crackhead. I love him so much and we're best friends. But he is a crackhead and he called me on my phone 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later, and he was like in a construction zone or something. And he's like, hey, yeah, I'm Dr. So-and-so. You want to meet on Zoom in like 20 minutes? And I literally messaged like everybody I knew and I was like, look into this man. I think he's a scammer. Like,
she told me she walked into I was in our bedroom and you were with Jenny when you were looking through all these things. And she like walked into the room and was like, I think I either found the most amazing plastic surgeon or I'm getting like,
scammed.
Or scammed.
I'm getting scammed.
And I was like, well, this is a bad place to start, but it does sound like something that we would get into.
No, because he was so like, yeah, he was so New York.
Very
he was
informal.
He was so informal. He's like, yeah, I'm just getting a bagel right now. I'll be back in the office in like 20 minutes. Someone yells at him. He's like, like yelling on the phone. And I was like, this man, like he scares me because at this point, all the doctors I have dealt with are very they're very stuffy.
Yeah.
And like
very clinical.
Very clinical.
No pun.
Yeah. Very clinical. They're not laughing at any of my jokes. They're just very far away. So this man he calls me literally immediately, is yelling at me over the phone, being like, meet me on Zoom in 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my God. So I do. And he's this New York doctor.
Sorry to interrupt. Just make sure you're a little close to that. Sorry.
He's this New York doctor, New York City doctor. And it's just kind of like, yeah, my brother's in movies. He did Cloverfield Lane. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, and he's so amazing because he does art with his breast cancer patients. So he'll be like, yeah, I host he's like, my whole thing is making like art with my patients. So like I host like art shows and I create sculptures and like paintings with them. He's super artistic. His family's very artistic.
When she was telling me this, that did not help the scam aspect.
It did not help the scam aspect.
Until I saw the art. It's very good art.
It's beautiful.
But she was like, yeah, he like, you know, gives boob jobs and then takes very high quality pictures of it. And I was like, okay.
Love him so much. We are literally best friends. And I don't know, there was something, he was so eclectic and he was so like, yeah, whatever, bro. Like kind of like he had such like he called me a dumbass the first day he met me. So, and I was like, I love him. So I believe in you. And I decided at that point, I was like, you know what? This doctor has made me laugh. And he's been personal with me, and he's an artist like me, and he's like the coolest kind of artist.
We didn't really realize how, like, I'm even just thinking about that now, how like important that would become for like the post-op survival and like the whole process survival.
Yeah.
Like we had only dealt with like very stuffy clinical
Very
people.
stuffy clinical people. And like not like this was like a doctor that was like, he got personal with me. He was an artist like me. And he was like the coolest kind of artist too, because it's like, he's an artist that does it with medicine.
Yeah.
Like he's like, no, I literally sculpt tits. And I'm like, I love you. So I went with my gut and I was like, this is the one for me. But he's also in New York City. I don't live in New York City. So we ended up having to go to New York City, and it was at the charity of a lot of people, because a lot of people help with my GoFundMe.
That's when we did the GoFundMe.
That was when we did the GoFundMe to like pay for everything. Because in my brain, it was like, and I understand that a lot of people don't have that option. And I was really heartbroken that a lot of women don't have the option to just go wherever they need to go to find the person that needs to help them at that time, because they don't have the money and they don't have the resources. I didn't have the money either. And like the GoFundMe helped so immensely. But even without that GoFundMe, I would have done it, because there's no amount of debt that I wasn't willing to get into at this point to not feel like I didn't have a say in what became of me.
Or like wronged further than you already were.
Right. Like for me, it was like, well, I didn't find anybody in Indiana, and I literally don't care where I have to go in the continental US. I will go into any amount of debt at this point just to feel like, not only am I going to survive this, but I'm not going to survive this hacked off. Like,
yeah, no, for real.
So
we ended up then from there, like this was probably June at this point that we had found
we found out that I had cancer on June 1st.
Yeah.
We went into surgery June 31st.
Yes. So there was a whole month in June where we're like, and I think you found your doctor. I'll let you say his name if you want, but whatever. But we put the whole itinerary together within weeks. Like it went from, okay, we're going to be in Indiana doing this, to we now have to somehow live in New York City for like
month.
4 months.
Yeah. Well, no, it was 8 weeks.
8 weeks. And then another
6 weeks. Sorry, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. And then another 8 weeks of recovery time for the final check. So it was almost 4 months, was it not?
No, it was 6 weeks total. It was
6 weeks total.
Yeah, it was the surgery day 1 and then 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm forgetting everything.
No, it was 6 weeks total. It was a month and a half.
But still, like having to then sit down and like figure out the logistics of like, okay, we're going to go somehow live in New York, get major surgery, recover from that major surgery, and do it all out of a hotel room, which is what we ended up doing.
We did. So I don't do that. Don't do that.
It worked out.
It didn't.
I mean, it did.
I mean, it did, because we lived, but like barely.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
It was so.
Do not get major surgery and then post up in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And then we ended up going to Vermont for the remaining 4 weeks.
To recover,
we had to recover because we couldn't afford to stay in New York any longer. And we had to be in the area for my final checkups. Like
at the end of the 6 weeks.
At the end of the 6 weeks, they had to be. So we weren't going to drive back to Indiana to drive back to New York. So we ended up going to Vermont, which was about 5 hours away.
Yeah.
To stay with my best friend and her mom, which is amazing. Go visit Vermont. Vermont is a beautiful state. And then Brady took out all of my tubes.
Yeah.
And Brady became a little surgeon.
I did.
At the
I
end
have
of all
a
this.
medical degree now. I still do. I'm learning. I'm like a pharmacist at this point.
Yeah.
I'm a first responder.
Mm-hmm. He learned a lot of medical stuff.
It's been wild. But so we did that for 6 weeks.
And that was step one. And that was step one.
That
was step one. Doing that was step one. And then after we did that, they did my pathology, and that's when they found cancer number 2.
Yep. That's a good place to break. We got to change the cameras out. So we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Fuck. Okay, we're back. Apparently the camera died and we didn't know it earlier than when I thought that it would not be dead.
I get it.
That's my life.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, as I was saying, then they found cancer number 2. So
we didn't know.
No, they literally didn't. They didn't know until they took the whole tit out.
Because it was directly behind
the other cancer. It was directly behind the other cancer.
Maybe people don't know what we're talking about. So you had your first cancer, the one that you originally got diagnosed with.
Was in the milk duct.
It was in the milk duct.
It was in the milk duct, in the boobie, contained on the left boob.
But it could have split open the duct at any time.
It could have split open the duct at any time and then become invasive cancer. There was also a cancer directly behind that one.
Double cancer.
That was behind the muscle, so it was harder to see.
Yeah.
That was already invasive cancer. and was 8 centimeters.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like 8 centimeters big, heading towards the lymph nodes.
Yes, it was a free radical, so it was trying to get to the lymph node.
That's
when it's game over.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, the stages of cancer basically, like, it goes from stage 0, which was the first cancer I had was stage 0 because it was contained and could not move.
Yeah, could not get to the rest of the body.
It could not get to the rest of the body as long as it was in the milk duct. It could always split open the milk duct, and that's when it would be stage 1, when it was moving and was no longer contained.
Yeah.
So the first one was stage 0. Stage 0 is basically a certain size and containment. Stage 1 is a certain size and it's out, but it hasn't left the area.
It hasn't gotten to the lymphatic system.
It hasn't left the area of the lymphatic. It hasn't left the area where it originated. It is still there, and that is all of the cancer in the body. It's just there. You can jump anywhere from stage 2 to stage 3 the second it hits the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is basically your highway system. Like it's basically a highway system throughout your body that's through your lymph nodes. And your lymph nodes are in your armpits.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. They go all over your system. But essentially the ones that when you have breast cancer, the ones that it's going to go for are the one in the armpits. Mm-hmm. Your lymph nodes in the armpits. It's going to go there. So once it hits there, it's basically the reason that's when it becomes stage 2 to stage 3 is because now that cancer basically took a ride on the highway and can be anywhere in the body. And then when it hits stage 4, that's when it's growing somewhere else. It's metastasized somewhere else in the body. So what might have started as breast cancer is now breast cancer in your liver.
Yeah. Yes.
Kind of a thing.
So her first one was technically stage 0.
So my first one was stage 0, and my second one was stage 1, but it was moving like a little bitch.
Trying to grow, it was growing right
to my lymph
lymphatic.
nodes.
Yeah.
To my lymph nodes. It was like she was on her way.
So your surgeon decided.
So my surgeon, they took out, they didn't know this until pathology. They literally
they were like,
chopped out the whole boob.
Get rid of this thing.
Yeah, they chopped out the whole boob. But when you do a double mastectomy and they take out your breast tissue, they do go ahead and check your lymph nodes anyways. So they had already done that during the surgery. So I didn't really need to do anything else surgically for that, but my lymph nodes were in the clear. They had not yet reached my lymphatic system. All of my lymph nodes, they checked 6 lymph nodes on each side and they were all empty, which was really great news because that was stage 1 cancer. The not great news was the kind of cancer that it was. So I had 2 different types of breast cancer. One of them was an easy kind of little egg. One of them was an easier cancer. That was the one that was stuck in the milk duct. The one behind it, the free radical terrorist bitch, was triple negative breast cancer, which is
like the worst.
It is objective. It is the worst form of breast cancer. And the reason that it is the worst form of breast cancer is because it is the most aggressive. It is the most mutated. It is the most
and it doesn't respond.
Toxic.
Yeah, and it doesn't respond. This is my understanding. There's 3 different types of hormones that they can use.
Well, it's 3 different types of avenues.
Avenues, yeah. Some of them are hormones.
Yes,
though. Yeah.
Some of them are hormones.
Basically, they can try and treat and control cancer if it's respondent to one of these 3 variables.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. You want it to be responsive to at
something.
least one. Yeah.
Okay, so basically the way that it works is with breast cancer, and I'm sure that it may not be the case for other kinds of cancers, but with breast cancer, there are 3 kinds of avenues of chemical avenues that they will check. And one of those is your estrogen levels, your progesterone levels, and your HER2 basically levels in the pathology of the cancer itself. And so, for example, some cancer comes out of estrogen. Like estrogen itself is what causes the cancer.
Yeah.
So if your cancer is positive to estrogen, that means that estrogen is causing that cancer. It's either causing it to grow faster or it's causing it to grow in general.
Yeah.
So all your doctors have to do to start mitigating that cancer is remove estrogen from your body.
Yeah.
Same thing with progesterone and same thing with the HER2. When you have triple negative breast cancer, none of those will work.
Yeah.
None of that is reactive to the cancer. The cancer is literally it just spawned.
It's like, fuck you.
It spawned. Yeah. It spawned from itself. Like it was like the body was determined to give you cancer, essentially.
A gene broke and it just started growing.
Right. So with you, when you have triple negative breast cancer, you immediately lose a lot of
like options,
medical options to how to treat it. And you're only left with the extremes.
Yeah.
That is radiation and that is chemo. And it's a really extreme form of chemo because the cancer itself is so volatile and so aggressive. Mm-hmm. So this particular type of cancer is really, really commonly, like it will commonly resurge somewhere else in the body. And those places are almost always the bones or the liver. It will almost always come out and metastasize in the bones or the liver. Now, when you have no option to fight this with medicine and like removal or introduction of hormones or other medical things, that means your only real option to fight this is chemo and radiation. And the reason that this is the worst form of breast cancer is because it has a way higher mortality rate, because if all you can do to fight something is chemo and radiation, there is a really good chance that the medication itself will kill you,
do more damage
before the cancer does.
Going, yeah.
Because if this cancer pops up in your bones, you can't chop off your bones. Like they cannot remove your bones. To. And if they irradiate your bones and it's taking a long time to like get all the cancer out of your bones,
you get cancer from that.
You're going to get more cancer from the radiation in your bones. You're going to get leukemia. Damn. And then with chemo, if the chemo is like, if it's pumping and pumping and pumping and like it's too much cancer to fight, that chemo is going to kill you.
Yeah, because there's other people don't like there. It affects, at least your specific chemo affects the heart muscle, causes degradation of heart muscles, causes like basically 12 different kinds of failure across the body.
Yeah.
So it is when we found out that it was triple negative and that we were going to have to do some kind of additional treatment after the surgery, that we thought we were like lucking out, like we were done. We were going to make this hard decision of cut the boobs off.
And that's it.
Then we found out that no, it's actually going to be way worse than that.
Yeah. So for the past 5 months, I finished in March.
End of March.
I started in October. I started in October because we had to wait till I was relatively healed from surgery to start putting my body through the fucking ringer again.
Yeah.
So I started chemo in October. I did lose all my hair.
Her hair is fake, right? We'll get to that. She's wearing a wig.
This is a wig.
We'll show you, but
I did lose all my hair. All of my nails turned black. You can't tell. My skin was completely destroyed. I can't retain any water. Like I'm incredibly dehydrated all the time, which means my lips are always chapped and they're always cutting open, and that fucking sucks. It's been rough. The bone pain has been incredibly crazy because chemo does cause a lot of bone pain, and it caused heart pain, and then I got a blood clot.
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
That was a whole thing. The point is that it's been a wild ride. It's been really, really, really wild.
Do you want to talk about the type of chemo that you had to do for maybe the people that know a little bit about chemo?
Well, my chemo regimen is AC and carbotaxol. So when you think of AC chemo, which is what I went through, that is the chemo. Like when you think of chemo and chemo patients,
like
and they're all
sickly and dead,
like sickly and dead and no color, no hair, and they're like, and they can't walk. That is because of AC chemo, because all chemo is not the same. All chemo, there's light chemo, there's easier chemo, there's chemo that like can be,
there's even like a subset of like hormone therapy.
Right.
Like if they're like, okay, before we start thinking about surgery or chemotherapy, they can start giving you like hormonal supplements to see if the cancer responds. There's a lot of levels to it. And she basically got pegged with the worst one.
The worst one. I got the one that's like, this will kill everything in your body. It will eradicate everything, because from my doctor's perspective, yes, they took out the breast and the breast tissue, which meant that they took out the cancer. So yes, technically right now, I am considered technically cancer-free. However, if even a tiny microscopic part of that cancer remained and escaped in my body before they had a chance to cut it out, the risk, because it's triple negative and because nothing will work except for chemo and radiation, and because it almost always comes out in major organs or the bones, they're like, we literally cannot risk this coming back, because if it does come back, it will be terminal.
Yeah, you literally can't, because it'll show up in a place where you can't cut it out.
Yeah, it'll show up in a place where you can't cut it out, and where if all you can do is throw chemo and radiation at it, you'll probably end up sicker than you started and you'll probably die. So it is terminal. So they basically were like, we are going to hit you with the fucking nuke. We're going to hit you with a nuke.
And salt the earth after.
And they salted the shit out of they salted the shit out of my body.
She's salted.
I'm so salty. So it's called adriamycin and cytoxin.
Red devil.
And cytoxin. Those are my two. Adriamycin has she's got street cred, people. Like, she has street cred. She's got a street name. They call her the Red Devil. She's a red chemo, and it will kill you. Like, I have no idea how I'm alive right now. And I also have no idea how old ladies
I don't know how old people do this at all.
I don't know how old people do this at all.
I would rather die. Like I'd rather be like, let it take me.
I don't know how old people do this at all, because when I tell you that my body basically was like in a death, like it was in a death zone for like 8 weeks. Like I couldn't move. Every single day I had like a blinding headache. I couldn't see. I lost my memory. I still have memory problems.
She doesn't know where she is. Ever,
I don't like literally. I'd be like, how'd I get here? Like full
Who are you?
Full senile memory problems. Like, and then my nails turned black. I was crying red.
She cries red.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. We're done with AC. But she would like literally cry red. Your piss would be red.
I was highly toxic.
I wasn't allowed to be around her
for 48 hours
after each treatment. Like,
because I was literally highly toxic.
Yeah, they were like, if she pukes, like gloves, mask, like rinse yourself off in the shower immediately, like eye protection. And she'd be like, all right, I'm gonna puke. Like, and I'm like, I can't sleep here.
I was puking constantly.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. It was evil. But that's what I had.
We did 2 months of that, 4 total treatments.
2 months of that, 4 total treatments. Fun fact, that chemo is so harsh and so deadly that you have a lifetime limit
of how much
you can take.
Like lifetime doses.
Lifetime doses. So like, for example, like in your life, you can only maybe get like 250 milligrams of it or whatever.
It is.
Like after that, if you keep getting cancer, they're like, we can't give you any more. Like it'll just kill you.
It's literally
it's a lifetime. So like however much they gave me is subtracted from how much I can get in my life. Like they're like, that's it. Like,
please, sir, may I have another?
You can't.
Yeah.
So that was
4 treatments of that.
Yeah,
took 2 months.
Adriamycin and cytoxin. That was my first dose of chemo. And now I'm on my second dose of chemo, which is carbotaxol.
And that was 3 months, 12 total treatments.
12 total treatments.
We have had to delay a couple weeks.
My white blood count crashed onto the floor.
Yeah. And that's
the stuff that they don't tell you about chemo either. It's like your body's literally falling apart.
It is a constant, every week that we go in, it's a constant juggle of like, what problems showed up this past week?
Yeah.
How was this problem doing? Oh, we solved that. Oh, that problem got worse. This new problem could be because we introduced this, that, and the third. Like it is a constant juggling game of bullshit. Like it's so fucked. It being a person that has stood on the outside and just, been like, I love this person and it's awful that I can't do anything besides be here.
And they're extreme. Like it's extreme vomiting. It's extreme bone pain.
It's a full-time job.
It's extreme bone pain. It's extreme. I haven't been able to do much by myself
for months,
for like 5-6 months now, because I get lightheaded and I'll pass out. I lose my memory.
You have like you have a 2-hour battery and then you need to charge.
Yeah.
Like you can get up and do something light for 2 hours.
Yeah. And then I got to go to sleep. I'm recently having this entire thing where like my entire body regulation is completely off. So like I can't regulate my body temperature anymore, which means I'm completely I'm frozen all the time and I'm sweating bullets. Like I'm sweating bullets. It's
gross.
It's fucked up. It's like, and I
It
can't.
is fucked up.
They're gonna go. They have to go check my thyroid now because they're like, well, we might have fucked up her thyroid, so now we've got to see what the fuck is going on there.
Yeah, and at the same time, we were like, she was saying, like during AC, she got oh my god. Okay, so during AC, the fucking Red Devil. We were also battling a fucking blood clot.
Oh yeah, the blood clot. We're still battling the blood clot.
We're still it's not gone. Like she still takes a pill every day, but she got the blood clot from we got to do IVF.
Oh yeah, we did IVF.
We did IVF.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a whole other thing that they were like, okay, rush, like before we start chemotherapy is going to leave you infertile, more than likely.
Yeah.
So
good percentage of that.
We need to grow some fucking eggs and get them out of you.
We've got 5 kids in a test tube.
Yeah, they're my sea monkeys.
Five kids in a test tube.
So it was crazy because we did IVF before chemo, and it was typically IVF, just the egg growing and harvesting process takes 8 weeks.
They had to do mine in 2.
2 weeks.
They had to do mine in 2. So like for all my ladies out here that know what it's like to have a period, and you know like that, you get so bloated and your ovaries feel full and like you can't even like really like walk, and it's like it hurts especially to like be like to contract, so like it hurts like to like bend down and grab something, or to sit, like it hurts because you're so bloated. Okay, that's all caused by one egg. So every cycle, your ovaries will do one egg. Your left one will start, or your right one. It's not 2 eggs. That's not like they each produce one. It's one. So either your left one will do it or your right one will do it. But either way, one fucking egg. I had 20 eggs in my ovaries.
At the end of the 2 weeks.
I was walking around like I was like
you looked
9
pregnant.
weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
I was walking around like I was like 9 months pregnant. I couldn't sit.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand. I was crying, and it was so painful.
And every morning I would have to get a big needle of this stuff called follistim and inject it into her belly, like in the ovary region. And
I had to get shots 3 times a day.
It was 3 times a day. Yeah.
3 times a day.
3 times a day for 2 weeks. And then we went into surgery.
And so that's the second surgery in a month.
Yeah. To get the eggs out. And yeah, they luckily, I think you put some on ice and then.
Yeah, we did. They harvested 20 eggs. We split them up. So we did 10 and 10. I kept some unfertilized because I don't know him.
I might be bad.
And what if he tomorrow decides to lose his mind? And I might be infertile forever. So fuck that. Fuck mincing words. I was like, nope, I don't know him, and I'll be crazy before I trust a man.
I was like, yeah, I totally get that.
So you put half and half. So we did half unfertilized, just my eggs. So should he ever fuck up entirely, I can still go do this with someone else. And then we did 10 with his with fertilized by him
with my gum,
and
we got 5.
And we got 5. So like 5 survived through the process
and started becoming a thing. 2 of them are boys, 2 of them are girls.
2 boys, 2 girls, and one of them is a mystery.
Yeah,
they literally were like, we couldn't get any data off of that one.
They had
and
a
I was
bad
like,
biopsy, and they were like, we don't want to do that again.
Yeah,
because every time we unthaw them, they can degrade. So they were like, that can be your mystery kid if you want all 5. And then I was like, I want all 5.
And I literally almost died in that moment. This man who's like, I don't know if I ever want children. I don't know, like kids are just so annoying, like blah, blah, like so like, like I guess I could. But then the second the doctor calls and like, you have 5. And we're like, oh, great. And they're like, do you want to know the sexes? And I was like, fuck yeah. And they were like, you have 2 boys and 2 girls. And Brady was like, I want all of them.
Yep. Yeah.
In the same, and I almost kicked him out of the house.
It's because they made it.
I almost kicked him out of the house.
Any other pregnancy, like I'm like, you fucking little cell made it, cool, you win, you're a baby, whatever. I don't care about you. With in vitro fertilization, I'm like, you went under the amazing race and got to the end. You get to be born. I was like, yep, those are all my children.
What if we're just in the amazing race for No, I was trying to think of a joke of like we are also part of.
I don't know.
I don't know. Cut
It's
that
okay.
part out.
No, I'm not. I love you.
You get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what if the people? Okay, whatever.
So she got the blood clot from the IVF.
I got the blood clot. Okay,
they told
because you
us
have
that
to.
that could happen.
No, because you have to understand. You have to understand how quickly this was. So I got my titties cut off June 31st, right? And then we had to spend 8 weeks, like 6 weeks there, and then 8 more weeks after that we had to do. So then we did what would make that so that we would be in what September?
We got home at the end of September.
We got home at the end of September. So we were gone for August and September.
We left a week, the third week of July is when we left. Because your surgery was July 31st, not June 31st.
Oh, yes, you're right. Sorry.
Okay.
July 31st.
This is I get to go at all times. I get to go, no,
I don't
it's
remember.
this. And then she goes, really? And I'm like, yeah.
I don't remember. So July 31st. So we were gone for August and we got in late September. And then we immediately had to do IVF because we immediately had to start chemo. So IVF took 2 weeks into October.
Yeah.
Like from September, September to October, that was IVF. So that's an entire other surgery that I had to go through. And then I had to do another surgery to get me a port, which is how they do my chemo. So I had to do another surgery. So I do the IVF, and then 1 week later, I'm back in surgery to get a port done. And then the day after that, they were like, okay, let's do chemo on Tuesday. I show up on Tuesday. I had my port surgery put in on a Friday. I was complaining about pain by Saturday. And then by Tuesday, I was in so much pain that when I sat down for chemo, I was like, I refuse. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, and it was my first chemo ever. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know like what would happen. So I was especially on edge and especially nervous. And I was like, no. You will not do anything. I am not
Consenting.
I'm not consenting. I will not let anything happen to me. I will bite you. Get away from me. And
they were like, oh, well, your symptoms sound like a blood clot.
No, that's not what happened.
But they were like, but that's not possible.
That's not what happened.
Okay.
I told them, I was like, I think I have a blood clot.
Yes.
And they looked at me like I was cuckoo bananas because I don't have a fucking medical degree. And I'm just saying stuff.
They were like, we just put this port in 3 days ago. There's no way that you have
could
a blood
form a blood clot
without knowing that the IVF drugs. Which I'm like, wouldn't you?
So wouldn't you fucking
Don't
believe
we pay
it?
you to know?
So I had a blood clot in like the vein that goes straight to my heart, and they were like, "Oh no,
shit.
You can have like a heart attack like at any moment. Like so, you're gonna get a stroke."
And then you did shots for that every day for 60 days.
They had to do emergency shots. They sent me a giant 90-day supply of shots. It's called Lovenox shots. If you've ever been familiar with it, I'm so sorry because they're so painful. I had to do stomach shots twice a day for 90 days. It was
awful.
horrible. And meanwhile, I'm doing all this during AC.
Yeah.
Like I'm already like
and it's gonna sound like we're like piling stuff on, but that's what happened.
That's what happened. And like
just
meanwhile,
kept
it's
going.
like it's all the symptoms of AC. Like I was losing my hair in the middle of all this. And by the way, that hurts when you lose your hair because of chemo. Yeah. It hurts like a bitch. Like nobody says that, but it hurts. It feels like your scalp is being peeled off. So that was really painful. So I was never getting any sleep. I was vomiting all the time. Also they had me on these crazy steroids, which make you really fat. So it was like, my body was like
changing rapidly.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm still handling that now because I'm still on steroids that are still making me really fat because they retain a lot of.
She looks beautiful.
They retain a lot of, I don't even know what the hell they call it, but
fat.
They retain a lot of fat, I guess.
Let me change the camera card out and we'll
okay.
When we come back, we'll show you the wig.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We were talking about the whole timeline, but I think people have the timeline now. Like there's a lot of like extra details in all of it that are just more random shit that we had to deal with. But that's a pretty good overview, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't remember what we left off on.
Just
I have memory issues, remember?
Yeah. So what I remember is just that we finished up talking about the blood clot and doing that. And
yeah, it's been, so it went with surgery, IVF, port surgery, blood clot, AC, carbotaxol, and now we're in the middle of carbotaxol, and
we had to take a break because it was messing
very
up your white blood cells.
Yeah. So it's been a lot. Carbotaxol has come with its own set of problems, like a horrific bone pain that I can't even begin to describe. And what it's doing to like my immune system is really shitty. I can't go anywhere. I'm literally I'm bubble girl.
Yeah. I got to like decontaminate before I see her if I go out of the house.
Yeah, I can't.
One of the fun things that we did is before we started chemo, we found this company that they're out of New York and DC. They're called High Definition Hair. Shout out. They are they're a newer company that is like making wigs out of people's real hair on a level that I don't know anything about wigs, but this shit is nuts.
Especially when it's like, it's not only your real hair, and you don't have to use your real hair. Like they have donated hair wigs that they've made. So it's not just that it's only exclusively make it out of your hair.
But you can do that.
But you can do that.
Cool.
It's an option that you can do if you really want to keep your own hair. It's not just that it's made out of your real hair, and it's not just that it's made so amazingly well. It's also that you don't need to do anything to like put it on and off. Like it's like
we went out there. Yeah.
It suctions directly to your head. So it's like, this is a wig. This is a wig of my hair. We made this wig of my hair because I didn't want a cold cap. Cold cap is an entire thing. Look it up. It's stupid. And it's a waste of money. But essentially cold capping is when you
apply extreme cold to the scalp during treatment.
Yeah, you apply extreme cold ice, essentially use dry ice.
Yeah.
To basically freeze your entire scalp so that it basically makes your nerves and like the blood like follicles, it makes it go to sleep so that the chemo does not reach those follicles, infect them and kill it.
Yeah.
So it's basically like it's creating an ice shield between your follicles and the chemo. However, it doesn't work. Like you can maybe
they said that you would keep 60 to 30% of your hair.
Anywhere from 30 to 60%, and it's painful because can you imagine putting dry ice on your head? You have to do that shit for 8 hours
before you go to chemo, during and then after.
Yeah, you have to do it 4 hours before chemo, however long chemo is, and then for 4 hours after. So it's an entire day event, and you have to constantly be changing the caps because they have to stay a certain temperature. So you're constantly changing them out. So it's not just that you put it on and done, and you leave that on for 8 hours. No. You have to keep taking it off, putting it on, making sure it's hitting every single follicle in your head, making sure it's evenly spread across your head, and it's so much work and effort, and it's
money.
$4,000.
Yeah, and they're like, it's
not covered by insurance. It's considered a luxury. It's not covered.
It's also like still experimental or something.
It's completely experimental still, and you have to go and get the dry ice yourself every day.
Yeah, they were like, you're gonna have to drive to the airport and pick it up at some industrial facility.
Yeah.
Every day
Because you have to pick it up the dry ice day of.
Yeah.
So if you have chemo at 9 a.m, you need to have had that dry ice in your hair since 4 a.m, and I don't even know how you would grab it.
You'd have to buy it that night before.
You'd have to buy it the night before.
And store it.
And also if you have chemo, like for me, they've had to delay my chemo now 3 times because my levels just weren't good. I wasn't going to treatment. I couldn't handle treatment. Essentially, my body couldn't handle it. If that happens, which is common, it's common that happens. You don't know when it's going to happen. They have to check your blood every time you do chemo. They check your blood and they do your labs before they give you treatment. And if your labs say that you can't have treatment, you just wasted $200 of dry ice because you have to throw it out.
Because it doesn't keep. So
it doesn't keep.
We heard that.
That was the only option presented to me. A young woman that, I'm getting married this year. I don't want to be bald. My hair is a huge part of my identity, especially as a Hispanic woman. Like, the only option presented to me was cold capping. And I literally said, go fuck yourself. And I had my friend Veronica actually sent me High Definition Hair. She's the one who told me about them. But I had my friends looking out for other options. And I found, through Veronica, I found that one. And
we ran there.
We ran. They're in DC, so it took effort to run there.
Yeah. We got an appointment. We drove there immediately.
Yeah.
They started because we were also under the gun to start chemo.
Yeah.
Susie delayed chemo to get a wig made, which I agree with. But
No, I didn't.
did you not? I thought that they were waiting on it.
No, we had chemo that Friday.
Oh yeah. And then,
I literally called. I was like, I have chemo this Friday. Can you get me in on Wednesday?
yeah.
And
we
they did.
flew there.
We didn't fly there.
Not like flew there as like
We drove
were
there.
so fast going there.
Yeah.
We got there.
I called them on Monday.
Yeah, and
I
were
called
there
them on
Wednesday.
Monday and we were there Wednesday and I did chemo on Friday.
Yeah. They essentially sat her down and just got to work. They started like taking measurements of her head, making like some kind of mold. I don't know the whole process. And then literally taking each piece of hair attached to her head, bundling it up, labeling it.
Labeling what side, like what area it came from in my head.
Yeah. And then cut it.
And then they cut it.
And they went
They gave me a
to
cute
the lab.
Yeah, they gave me a cute ass fade.
Yeah, you looked good. They went into the lab because they were like, yeah, all right, it's going to take about 12 weeks
12
or whatever.
12 weeks.
And just recently, like a couple days ago, we went back to DC to get it. Do you want to show them? Do you want to take it off?
So this is my wig.
This is her real hair.
This is my real hair that they made a wig out of. They literally like my scalp
matched it,
and I can move it. I can do whatever I want with my hair. I can put it up. Like I can do any sort of hairstyle. I can iron it. I can curl it.
It's like real.
It's my real hair.
Real.
It's literally my real hair. So anything I can do with my real hair, and they matched my scalp. So I can do an updo. And you can't tell that like you have no edges. Like it's just.
You should take it off.
So this is my real hair with a real wig. This wig does not require any glue. It doesn't require any sort of like prep to put on. It doesn't require anything to take off. Like I take it on and off and I can just do whatever I want with it. It was around $3,000. It will last me 5 to 10 years.
Which is cheaper than cold capping. And it's a guarantee that I got to keep my hair. It was a guarantee. Like it's not like, because when you cold cap, yeah, you could keep up to 60% of your hair if you're lucky. Yeah.
But it's the part that comes out, it's not coming out evenly. It's like
patchy
patches here, patches here, patches here, patches here. Like it's a mess. Anyways, this was a guarantee for me that I could keep my hair. If I was willing to spend $4,000 on cold capping, then I was willing to spend $3,000 on a guaranteed way to keep my hair. And it is exactly how I left it. This is exactly how my hair fell.
She looks like nothing happened.
This is exactly how my hair used to be.
You should show them. It's it's insanity. That's what she looks like.
I have no hair.
Yeah.
It's gone. I have no hair. Everything that looks like I have hair on my face, that's drawn on. That's not real either. But like, I have no hair. And like, look at that. They mimicked my baby hairs. They mimicked my sideburns. They mimicked like
everything.
They framed my face. And look, I take it off. I just took it off. It's no big deal. They matched my scalp color to the wig itself so that it was perfectly. So like when I show my scalp with like my hairlines, it just looks like a hairline.
And then also as you begin to heal, once the chemo's done and your hair starts growing back, it actually then matches up.
It will match up to like how my hair is growing back in.
So it'll look even better when you start growing hair.
I don't have to have an awkward phase. Yeah. I don't have to have an awkward hair phase when my hair starts growing back. Yeah. I can just plop my wig on and it will match as my wig.
That literally, like I felt that weird thing where I was like, oh my God, that is like every time that she takes it off still. Or puts it on.
And like, there's no glue, there's no mesh, there's no lace front, there's nothing. It's just and look, I'll put it back on.
She kind of does that.
So.
And you got to adjust a little bit, let it sit on. That's so weird. That's so crazy.
And she's back. And look, it matched they matched my cowlick. They literally made my cowlick.
That is the craziest
And I just have to I just move around.
You just adjust it and then it sucks right on your head?
It literally suctions right to my head because they made a mold of my head. Mm-hmm. And so it's completely and look at my sideburns. Like, hello. Hello.
That really is wild to see. I hope that it comes off on camera the
Yeah,
way
I hope
that it does
you
in
can.
person.
I hope you can really, really tell. 'Cause
This company, like, and I'm partnering with them because of how legitimately impressed I was by this product.
I told them, and like, and the only really way that I can like describe it is like when you go through cancer, and I cannot speak for going through cancer outside of my own experience, but I have to assume that it's a similar experience. But especially as a young woman going through cancer, like not even in her 30s, and you know, you're experiencing all these people poking and prodding and taking from you. They take from you. Cancer takes from you. It takes away your sense of self. It takes away your sense of I used to think I was unstoppable. I used to think that nothing would, like, it takes away your sense of confidence with
being alive,
with what the world can and will do to you. Like it does take that away. Like it gives you a fear that you never had before in your life, where you're much more cautious and much more hesitant because you now understand what can happen to you. You now understand what it feels like when your body fails you. It's like cancer took away my sense of self. It took away my sense of confidence. It took away my breasts. It took away my hair. It made me into a person that I don't recognize in the mirror because I don't know that person. I don't know this bald, fat lady. Like I don't know her. And this was the first time in the last 6 months and throughout this process that I really felt like someone gave something back to me. Like they were like, here's your hair back.
It was the first good thing that happened.
Yeah. It's been the first good thing that happened in this entire situation.
I really think, because I know that some of you have reached out as we've talked about the cancer in general and the entire process. I think that more people need to know that this is an option. Because the options that you're handed with cancer are fucked. Every angle is so bad. It's so there. You're giving a pound of flesh every day and compromise it can't get worse. Moves every time.
Oh, she sure does.
And I am legitimately floored and just grateful overall for this company, for High Definition Hair and Nicole and Cynthia over there. Like they are like, they're almost as important as the medicine aspect. Yeah. Like almost more.
I would say, I mean, I don't know about more, but like,
you know what I mean?
But like evenly,
cancer,
but like evenly.
Equally as important.
They're equally as important. Like what they gave me, Cynthia and Nicole, they are the women of High Definition Hair. Nicole is the head of it, the mastermind behind it. This is a level of art that I have not seen, like, made with her own hands. She did this, made with her own hands.
I don't get blown away much anymore in my adult life. I don't get amazed by things. Like I can be excited and be like, wow, that turned out great. This when you got this wig from them, when they put it on your head, I was amazed in a way that, like, almost like a childlike amazement. Yeah. I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. And he looked at me it was so cute. He looked at me the whole day. I would just catch him staring at me. He'd be like, "You're so pretty." And I was like, "Oh, like it was a legitimate awe."
I still feel it, like right now. Yeah. Like every time you put it on.
He was like, "You're back.
You're back."
It's like
nothing happened.
Yeah, like nothing happened. He was like, "You're back."
We're going to talk about high definition hair a lot more over the next couple months.
We're going to make a lot of, because I really can't, I cannot comprehend how when women are facing something as scary and as life-threatening and life-changing as cancer, that cold capping is the only option offered. That was the only option offered. And it's not even a good one. And it's a fucking expensive one. So if you're going to spend $4,000 and just to watch your hair fall out anyways.
To spend $4,000 to be sad.
$4,000 to be heartbroken and watch it fall out anyways, because they don't give you a refund. It doesn't matter if you quit halfway through because all of your hair fell out. That doesn't matter. They're still charging you the full amount for the cold caps. So I could not imagine spending $4,000 and then still watching my hair fall out in clumps, and I just I'd have no other recourse but to be like, wow, I'm out my hair and I'm out my money.
Yep.
And this is an option.
It should be the standard.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah,
It's
should
still
be the standard.
it's expensive for sure. I'm not saying that everybody has the money, but if you have the money to cold cap, you should know about this.
Yeah, you should do this instead. Like it high definition hair. I'll put their link in the box with the words.
They have 2 locations right now. Don't let that fool you. They are very still a startup. They are still kind of figuring it out. Like, it's not a huge company. They're
all about the work.
Yeah, it is very much a mom and pop shop still. They have a location in DC and in New York. We went to DC, which is where the head of the company is. And Nicole and Cynthia were amazing, and I love them. They gave me something back that I'll never be able to repay them for. But they do have a location in New York, and they're opening one up in London, which is amazing.
Hopefully,
I love that.
Yeah.
But if you know anybody that is struggling with hair loss, because again, they have pre-made wigs. It doesn't have to be that you have your hair and are going to lose it.
You could do anything.
If you already have lost your hair and you want a really, really beautiful wig made that is like, come on, like the roots are perfect. The roots match perfectly. And you don't have to worry about lace front sewing in, gluing it. You can take it on and off like a hat. And it matches your hat. It matches your head perfectly. If you want something like that, and you have, if you struggle with hair loss, whether it be through like alopecia or cancer, or somebody who is struggling with hair loss through similar kind of reasons, or even if you just don't like your hair and you want new hair,
they and I mean this with all love. They took Susy's natural hair and made it better.
They made it better.
It sits better. It isn't as like unruly, I feel like. It looks like the perfect version of what her hair looked like before. It is.
They literally they took my hair, but they tamed it.
Yeah. It is. I again, we'll have a lot more to talk about with them, but like it is an option. You should know about it. In our experience, it is the better option and the one you should do if you're considering any of it. So.
Yeah. Or if anybody is struggling and is looking for answers or, solutions, they are definitely one to consider. Yeah. For sure.
We got to wrap it up.
We have to wrap it up. But wait, well, are you just going to end it on the hair?
Well, no, we can now we are wrapping it up.
Okay, well, we should talk about
in the biz,
sale.
that's a transition. Oh. There we go. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, today, Sunday, is the last day of the Heat Death sale. Mm-hmm. It has been nuts. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We thought no one would get anything because we hadn't done it for a year. It has been our biggest drop that we've done. And
it's been a breast cancer drop. It's been specifically to help me with chemo. Is $21,000 every chemo session. I just need you guys to know that. It's $21,000.
We're like over $500,000.
Oh, we're so
fucked.
We're so I can't.
I could send 10 kids to college.
Yeah,
right now.
fully. So it's been a big help for me to have people. I know that people are always saying they want to help, but we like to make sure people get something back for that help. So we just thought that, a breast cancer themed Heat Death drop was a great way to achieve both of that. So that you guys got great designs and great merch. And we were able to get a little bit of help for my medical bills, which has been really great.
Yeah. It's going nuts. If you guys want to, all day today, Sunday, it's going to be free shipping on any order. No matter the size. So if you wanted to grab some of the new designs that we added on Wednesday, and you were mad at us that we added those on Wednesday and you didn't want to pay for shipping again, you can add it to your order. Shipping's free on literally every order. I think for international, it's free shipping after $50, which basically we will still lose money on, but it's okay because we want everyone to have stuff.
Yeah.
Heatdeath.co. Go check that out.
Yep. We'll put a link. We'll put a link down there to make it easy access. It's not heatdeath.com. Don't get fresh with us.
We don't believe in letters.
Yeah. Don't get fresh with us.
M's.
But we just wanted to hop in today and do a quick podcast.
Try this out. Yeah.
Try it out. And also because the Heat Death drop was a breast cancer theme and a lot of people don't know my story. They don't know who I am. They don't know, what this past year has been like. I'm sure that a breast cancer theme seemed kind of random, or maybe it didn't feel like why are they doing this?
They're a streetwear company.
Yeah, it's not even Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So we just kind of wanted to give a little bit more context to why that's been really important to us to highlight, And for anybody who doesn't know what Brady and I have been dealing with this past year, now you do.
We'll probably talk about it more too. If you guys want this to be a more regular thing of us just talking in the long form, I know people sleep to this shit. I know that a lot of people, I mean, I love listening to, I listen to hour-long videos. What the fuck are you listening to that boring
Rimworld
shit for? I talked about Rimworld last episode. But if you want more of this, let me know, because we can hop on whenever. And it is nice to just have a way to talk directly to the people that care about us without it having to be haha dick jokes all the time.
Yeah, just like a little check-in. You're going to want to check in because we're not going to get into it now. But we've also been planning a wedding this entire time.
We'll talk about it on the next one.
Just a quick cliffhanger, literally. We've been going through all of Cancer while still planning a wedding because
Don't do that, by the way.
We're really
Do not do
stubborn.
that.
Like I was like, no, I'm not going to let it take one more thing from me.
My advice to anyone who is supporting someone through cancer and you want to get married the same year, don't do it.
Don't do that.
We're going to do it, but
We're
don't
going to
do
do it, but don't do it. We're going to do it, but don't do it.
We might do it.
We might do it because, and I'll leave you with this little cliffhanger for potential
Clickbait
and potential new episodes. Yesterday, we received a phone call from our wedding planner that, and this is real, and I'm not exaggerating, that our venue literally fell off a cliff and into the ocean.
And our wedding is canceled.
And our wedding is canceled because it fell off a cliff and into the ocean.
Dun, dun, dun. Next week.
Due to massive landslides.
So don't build a building on the side of a mountain in California.
Don't do that.
And don't get your hopes up that you'll get married because God will put a church in the ocean to prevent you from
He said
married.
he wanted that one back.
Yeah, he's like, give me my house back.
Give me my house back. I want that one back.
Anyway, if you guys have any questions, we'll talk about that more later. If you have any questions for Susie, leave a comment down below. I'll have her go on her YouTube account and respond to questions.
I have a YouTube account.
You'll make one, I'm guessing. But if you have any questions for her, she'll answer those. Heatdeath.co. Every order gets free shipping until midnight tonight. Go check it out. I love you.
I know.
All right. We'll see you guys
in the next one.
next time.
We are Laotian, from Laos, stupid. It's a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It's between Vietnam and Thailand, okay? Population 4.7 million.
So, are you Chinese or Japanese?